The show ran for just 2 seasons, but thanks to reruns, it has managed to find a cult audience. Melody Patterson stood out as the only woman in the cast, helping create F Troop havoc along with Ken Berry, Larry Storch, and Forrest Tucker.
F Troop, 1965, isn't just a silly Western. It's a quirky, chaotic show that turned a misfit cavalry unit into a cult classic phenomenon still loved decades later. From outrageous stunts and clever gags to behind-the-scenes stories and surprising casting twists, the series gave viewers slapstick comedy with hidden layers of genius. Today, for the first time, we're uncovering 15 mind-blowing secrets no fan has fully appreciated, from shocking actor connections and daring jokes to bizarre production choices and hilarious mishaps. So, what exactly are these facts, and how did they make F Troop unforgettable? Number 15. The show became a cult classic after it ended. Even though F Troop was unexpectedly canceled in 1967 after just 2 short seasons, the show didn't vanish into television history as so many others did. Instead, it found a second life through syndication in the 1970s and 1980s, when networks began airing reruns that introduced the series to a whole new audience. Suddenly, a fresh generation of viewers discovered the wild, hilarious antics of Captain Wilton Parmenter and his bumbling, misfit cavalry troop.
Captain Parmenter's absolutely right, Manning. Good officers gotta be battle-sharp, tip-top shape.
The show's unique mix of physical comedy, clever wordplay, and outrageously absurd Western situations made it stand out from other programs of its time, turning everyday gags into unforgettable moments of laughter. Even decades after its original broadcast, fans couldn't resist quoting the soldiers' silly schemes, ridiculous misunderstandings, and the ever-charming chaos of Fort Courage. What made F Troop truly remarkable wasn't just its humor. It was the way it captured the imagination, proving that even a short-lived show could leave a lasting mark. Its episodes, packed with slapstick stunts, quirky characters, and clever jokes hidden in plain sight, became timeless treasures for comedy lovers. By blending the ridiculous with the clever, the series carved out a lasting legacy, showing that even a brief run could inspire devotion, laughter, and nostalgia for generations. Today, F Troop is celebrated not just as a piece of television history, but as a cult classic that continues to entertain, amuse, and surprise viewers who stumble upon its quirky charm for the very first time. Decades after the show ended, its legacy still remains. But what are the surprising facts that keep F Troop alive long after its cancellation? Let's find out. Number 14. Trooper Duffy turned Hollywood history into hilarious comedy. One of the most delightfully absurd running jokes on F Troop involved Trooper Duffy, the soldier who never stopped bragging about surviving the legendary Battle of the Alamo. On screen, his tall tales were completely impossible, adding endless comedy.
We could get up there. They'd have time to get to Captain Parmenter first.
We're late. Let's go home.
As viewers watched him spin story after story of heroic and often ridiculous exploits. But here's the twist that makes it even more fascinating. The actor behind Duffy, Bob Steele, wasn't just any Western performer. He had spent decades starring in classic cowboy films, and back in 1926, he even appeared in a silent movie about the Alamo itself. This clever connection created a layered joke that worked on multiple levels. Casual viewers could laugh at Duffy's absurd bravado, while longtime fans of Western films could spot the subtle nod to Steele's real-life cinematic past. F Troop had a knack for blending comedy and history in ways that rewarded both new and seasoned audiences, mixing slapstick, clever wordplay, and wink-and-nudge references seamlessly. It was the show's ability to intertwine ridiculous storytelling with real Hollywood trivia that gave it such enduring charm. By taking a familiar piece of American history and layering it with the actor's own legendary background, the series created a joke that was more than just funny. It was smart, meta humor that celebrated the Western genre while poking gentle fun at it. Trooper Duffy's tales remain a perfect example of how F Troop entertained everyone, from casual viewers laughing at the gags to devoted Western fans spotting the hidden nods behind the scenes. Trooper Duffy's unique ability to blend history with comedy makes F Troop stand out, and his age made him perfect for the role. But was the show limited to older actors? Or did it also feature much younger performers who seemed too young for their parts? Let's uncover the shocking details. Number 13. Wrangler. Jane was only 15 when she was cast. When Melody Patterson stepped onto the set of F Troop as Wrangler Jane, few could have imagined the impact her presence would have on the show. Remarkably, Patterson was only 15 years old when she landed the role, a fact that immediately posed a unique challenge for the writers and producers. Because the series hinted at a playful romantic tension between Jane and Captain Wilton Parmenter, scripts had to be carefully adjusted to ensure the story stayed appropriate until Patterson turned 16. This unusual circumstance did more than protect the young actress. It inadvertently shaped the very essence of her character. Jane became bold, fearless, and quick-witted, often taking the lead in adventures while the hapless Captain Parmenter fumbled awkwardly through situations. The contrast between her youthful confidence and the captain's bumbling charm created endless opportunities for humor, turning simple slapstick moments into unforgettable comedy gold. Wrangler Jane's youthful energy also brought a fresh, lively dynamic to the Fort Courage ensemble. Her charm, courage, and quick thinking didn't just make her a standout character, they drove much of the show's comedic heart. Scenes that relied on Jane's cleverness or daring often became highlights, showcasing Patterson's natural timing, charisma, and ability to match the physical comedy of her older co-stars. In short, Wrangler Jane wasn't just a character, she was a spark. Her presence elevated the series, adding layers of humor, tension, and charm that would be impossible to replicate. Without Patterson's youthful spirit and fearless performance, F Troop's blend of slapstick and clever comedy might never have achieved the same enduring appeal. Actress Melody Patterson, who played Wrangler Jane, was just 15 when she joined F Troop, and she more than lived up to expectations. But does that mean older cast members were limited in what they could deliver? Now, let's explore how Old Charlie's daring stunts brought the world of F Troop to life. Number 12. A silent film stuntman. Performed insane falls at age 65. Few characters in F Troop combined humor, danger, and sheer physical skill quite like the town drunk Old Charlie. While the character might have seemed clumsy, chaotic, and endlessly unlucky, the actor behind the antics was anything but inexperienced. Harvey Perry, a veteran Hollywood stuntman, brought decades of professional expertise to the role. Having worked in the film industry since the silent film era, Perry had performed countless stunts for legendary stars, mastering the art of physical comedy long before television comedy became popular. By the time Perry appeared on F Troop, he was already 65 years old, an age when most performers would step aside for younger stunt doubles. Yet, he fearlessly executed every tumble, pratfall, and outrageous misstep himself. From bouncing off saloon doors to falling over barrels and colliding with props, each stunt carried the weight of years of precision, timing, and theatrical experience. This remarkable combination of skill, bravery, and comic timing gave the show a rare authenticity. Younger performers might have struggled to make each fall look effortless, but Perry's decades of experience ensured that every gag landed perfectly, drawing laughter without losing believability. Old Charlie's physical comedy didn't just entertain, it elevated the show, turning seemingly simple mishaps into unforgettable moments of hilarity. Audiences may have seen only the funny tumbles, but behind every fall was a masterful performer whose lifetime of work in Hollywood brought energy, realism, and a timeless comedic charm to the screen. Beyond the extraordinary stunts of veteran Harvey Perry, who brought F Troop to life. Who among the cast was personally recognized by a legendary comedian for his dedication and skill? And what made his performance so remarkable that it earned such high praise? Let's find out. Number 11. Buster Keaton, personally praised. Ken Berry. Few moments in a performer's life are truly unforgettable. But for Ken Berry, one call changed everything. After watching episodes of F Troop, the legendary silent film comedian Buster Keaton personally picked up the phone to praise Berry's work. Keaton, famous for his groundbreaking physical comedy and classics like The General and Steamboat Bill, Jr., didn't hand out compliments lightly. His admiration wasn't just a casual nod, it was a rare acknowledgement from one of the greatest comedic minds in history. For Berry, this recognition was more than flattering. It was career-defining. Years of perfecting pratfalls, timing, and choreographed chaos had suddenly been validated by a master who had shaped comedy itself. Every stumble, tumble, and comic beat Berry delivered on F Troop had been carefully crafted. Yet it still appeared effortless and spontaneous. Keaton's praise reinforced that physical comedy wasn't just slapstick, it was an art form requiring precision, timing, and dedication. This moment also highlighted the surprising depth behind F Troop's humor. While the show often appeared silly and absurd, the skill and care of its performers elevated it beyond simple jokes. Berry's call from Keaton symbolized the bridge between silent-era mastery and modern television comedy, showing that great physical humor could transcend generations. For fans, it was a peek behind the curtain at the craft involved. For Berry, it was a personal triumph, a reminder that hard work, precision, and heart could earn recognition from the legends who came before, and that comedy, when done right, truly lasts forever. Ken Berry's extraordinary talent was recognized and praised by a legendary comedian. But was acting truly his calling, or did he leave another path to discover his destiny in performance? Let's unravel this surprising story. Number 10. Ken Berry got career advice from the future. Mr. Spock. Long before Ken Berry stumbled into the hilariously clumsy shoes of Captain Wilton Parmenter on F Troop, his path to Hollywood began in an unlikely place, the United States Army. Assigned to the Special Services Entertainment Division, Berry's job was to entertain troops across various military bases, performing skits, songs, and routines to lift morale. It was there, amid the hum of Army life and the chaos of barracks performances, that he met his commanding sergeant, a man who would one day become an iconic figure in science fiction, Leonard Nimoy. Years before he donned the pointed ears of Mr. Spock, Nimoy wasn't just a strict sergeant barking orders, he recognized potential. Watching Berry perform, he saw something special, a spark that could light up screens far beyond the Army stage. Taking the time to mentor him, Nimoy encouraged Berry to pursue acting seriously. He even went a step further, helping him reach out to Hollywood talent scouts and ensuring that Berry's performances caught the right eyes. Without that guidance, Berry might have remained just another talented performer lost among countless hopefuls. This mentorship story is a reminder that the Army wasn't only about drills and discipline, it could also shape futures in the most unexpected ways. Thanks to Nimoy's encouragement, Berry's career gained an early boost, eventually propelling him to television stardom. What started as Army entertainment became the foundation for a comedy career that would delight audiences for decades. The sergeant's insight proved that sometimes all it takes is one mentor to change a life. Though Ken Berry began his career in the U.S. Army, his superior saw his potential and encouraged him to pursue acting instead. But how did he deliver such extraordinary performances in F Troop? Was he limited to the scripted lines? Or did his unique talent elevate every scene beyond expectation? Let's find out. Number 9. Ken Berry choreographed many of his own falls. Before Ken Berry became the bumbling yet lovable Captain Wilton Parmenter on F Troop, he trained as a professional dancer.
the Continental, because it does what you want it to do.
A skill that would later define much of the show's signature humor. Unlike many actors who relied on simple physical gags or stunt doubles, Barry approached comedy like a carefully choreographed dance, knowing exactly how to time a fall, trip over a barrel, or tumble across a fence so it looked both hilarious and effortless. On the scripts, directors often left a simple note, "Business to be worked out with Ken." That short instruction carried immense trust, giving Barry full creative control over the show's physical antics. He turned everyday props, barrels, fences, tables, even doorways, into instruments of chaos. Each pratfall or mishap was carefully planned, but still felt spontaneous, as if the universe itself conspired to create laughter. This mix of preparation and improvisation made the comedy appear wild, unpredictable, and endlessly fun. For viewers, the antics looked natural and chaotic, yet behind every tumble and stumble lay decades of skill and timing. It was this invisible choreography that gave F Troop its unique charm, letting audiences laugh at the chaos without realizing how much precision went into creating it. Ken Barry didn't just act, he danced with disaster, blending planning, creativity, and fearless performance. His genius made the absurd stunts of F Troop not just funny, but timeless, giving viewers an authentic thrill of comedy in motion. This was physical comedy elevated to an art form, thanks to one dancer's fearless touch. Ken Barry was trusted to deliver brilliant performances, whether rehearsed or improvised, due to his pure talent. But which cast member landed a role by accident? And what did he do to earn that spot? Now, let's uncover how an accidental voice turned Corporal Agarn into a comedy legend. Number 8. Corporal Agarn's voice was invented by accident. One of the most unforgettable quirks of F Troop was Corporal Randolph Agarn's strange, nasal, and wildly exaggerated voice.
I understand a little Apache, Captain. Me, Corporal Agarn.
But what made it so iconic wasn't planned at all. Actor Larry Storch discovered it entirely by accident during a rehearsal. He was experimenting with different ways to deliver lines, trying out silly tones and exaggerated inflections when he landed on the nasal sound that would become Agarn's signature. The moment producers heard it, they knew something special had happened. That quirky, almost cartoonish voice wasn't just funny. It gave Agarn a unique personality that made him instantly recognizable. It turned him into a comedic force on screen, giving his every line and reaction a ridiculous, larger-than-life energy that audiences couldn't forget. What began as a spontaneous experiment in the rehearsal room ended up defining one of the most memorable characters in television Western comedy history. This accidental discovery shows just how often comedy is born from surprise, experimentation, and a willingness to take risks. Larry Storch's voice didn't just make Agarn funny, it gave him timing, charm, and personality, all in one. Even decades after the show aired, fans still remember the voice, laugh at the tone, and quote his lines, proving that sometimes the best comedy comes from the simplest, unplanned moments. In the world of F Troop, a single improvised choice could create a character whose charm and absurdity would stand the test of time. Larry Storch's accidental voice gave him a role in F Troop, but which act was carefully planned in every episode, not accidental? And why was it done deliberately? Now, let's explore what became the heart of Fort Courage's chaos. Number 7. The cannon gag happened in nearly every episode. At Fort Courage, there was one piece of equipment that was more than just a prop. It was practically a character in its own right, the fort's cannon. Unlike a normal, dependable weapon, this cannon seemed to have a mind of its own. Every time someone tried to fire it, chaos erupted. Wheels would collapse, misfires would send cannonballs in the wrong direction, and unlucky soldiers, most famously Private Vanderbilt, were often launched into the air, tangled in ropes, or crashing into fences. This disaster-prone cannon quickly became a signature running gag of F Troop. Audiences didn't just expect the cannon to fire, they eagerly anticipated what new disaster it would cause that week. Its unpredictability created a sense of suspense and hilarity.
We don't feel a need to tell the Parmenter story anymore. We'll illustrate some of the goings-on at the fort, make them instrumental, and cut it down to just under 30 seconds.
Making each scene feel fresh and exciting. Whether it toppled towers, demolished barrels, or sent characters spinning across the set, the cannon perfectly captured the absurd slapstick tone of the show. Behind the laughs, the gag was also a testament to clever staging and physical comedy. The mishaps were carefully timed, choreographed, and exaggerated to maximize humor, turning what could have been a simple prop into a central visual joke. Even decades later, fans remember the cannon as one of the most iconic symbols of Fort Courage's chaos. It wasn't just a tool for battle, it was a tool for laughter, proving that some jokes never lose their charm, and that the simplest idea, a malfunctioning cannon, could become an enduring source of comedy that defined the spirit of the show. Beyond the cannon gag, which happened deliberately in nearly every episode, what other decisions were carefully planned in F Troop to keep its comedy alive? Let's uncover the surprising details. Number 6. The height difference between the stars. One of the most instantly recognizable features of F Troop wasn't a plot twist or a punchline. It was the stunning height difference between the two central characters, Sergeant O'Rourke and Corporal Agarn. Forrest Tucker, playing the gruff, commanding Sergeant O'Rourke, stood a towering 6 feet 5 inches, a presence that could dominate any scene. In stark contrast, Larry Storch, portraying the bumbling Corporal Agarn.
The men all start protesting because Agarn has the best alibi the sergeant could imagine.
Measured only about 5 feet 7 inches. That nearly a foot of difference became more than just a fact. It became comedy gold. Directors didn't just notice this contrast, they embraced it, carefully framing scenes to emphasize the dramatic height gap. Camera angles, blocking, and staging were designed so that every interaction between the two men highlighted their physical mismatch. Whether O'Rourke was looming over Agarn during a reprimand, or Agarn scrambled to keep up with the towering sergeant, the disparity created instant visual humor that audiences could grasp without a single line of dialogue. This clever use of physical contrast tapped into the core of slapstick comedy, where exaggeration and timing drive laughter. The duo's interactions, part intimidation, part chaos, were elevated by their very bodies. Agarn's nervous gestures, frantic movements, and small stature made O'Rourke's commands seem even more imposing and absurd, creating a rhythm of comedy that repeated across every episode. Over time, this pairing became a hallmark of the show's charm, proving that sometimes the simplest visual cues, a towering sergeant next to a tiny corporal, can generate endless laughs and make characters unforgettable. The height difference wasn't just a feature. It was a comedic weapon used brilliantly every week. Sergeant O'Rourke and Corporal Agarn were deliberately cast together to play off their striking height difference, creating instant comedic contrast. But which character wasn't defined by height, yet still brought laughs despite being legally blind? Let's find out. Number 5. Private Vanderbilt, the lookout, was legally blind. One of the most hilarious running jokes on F Troop revolved around the fort's hapless lookout, Private Vanderbilt. No matter how hard he tried, he simply couldn't see properly, even with oversized glasses perched on his nose. This visual impairment led to a series of absurd and unforgettable mix-ups. He might mistake a harmless turkey for a charging Native American warrior, or confuse an actual Hekawi chief with a simple farm animal. Each error sent the soldiers of Fort Courage into chaotic, over-the-top reactions, creating moments of pure slapstick genius that left audiences laughing week after week. What made this gag truly remarkable was the balance of humor and empathy. Vanderbilt's disability was never played to humiliate him. Instead, it became a tool for comedy, showcasing how even small misunderstandings could spiral into enormous, absurd disasters at the fort. Writers carefully crafted each scene so that his mistakes felt natural yet outrageous, emphasizing the overall incompetence and lovable chaos of the garrison. The recurring Turkey versus Indian confusion became a signature joke of the series, a visual shorthand for the unpredictable madness that defined life at Fort Courage. Audiences eagerly anticipated his next blunder, knowing that each misperception would trigger a domino effect of laughter. Ultimately, Private Vanderbilt's near-sighted adventures are a testament to the brilliance of F Troop's writing. By turning a character flaw into a comedic highlight, the show transformed what could have been simple slapstick into a clever, enduring, and endlessly entertaining feature, proving that even incompetence can be charmingly funny. Though legally blind, the fort's lookout was deliberately included so that his actions, whether intentional or caused by his condition, would add extra comedy to the show. But what other moves were planned by the producers of F Troop to keep the humor alive in every scene? Let's find out. Number 4. A Beatles joke was hidden in a character's name. One of the most clever and understated gags in F Troop involved Private Leonard Rongo Starr, a hapless soldier whose name was a playful parody of Ringo Starr, the legendary drummer of the Beatles. At the height of Beatlemania, audiences might have chuckled at the nod, but the writers didn't stop there. Rongo wasn't just a name joke. He became a walking disaster at Fort Courage, where his every move seemed to spark chaos, accidents, and comedic mayhem. From tripping over barrels to accidentally setting off cannon mishaps, his presence was a constant source of unpredictable, hilarious moments that kept viewers laughing. What made this joke so effective was the layering of humor. On the surface, it was a timely reference to contemporary pop culture, a wink to those in the know. But underneath, it fit seamlessly into the absurd, over-the-top world of an 1860s Western fort, blending modern satire with slapstick comedy.
Storch was a brilliant mimic and comic. He was sort of like the United Nations of comedy.
In a way few shows dared to attempt. Audiences who didn't catch the Beatles connection still enjoyed Rongo as a character, laughing at his perpetual misfortune, while fans in the know appreciated the clever pop culture Easter egg. Rongo's continual disasters became a running gag, a symbol of the unpredictable madness at Fort Courage. Each mishap added to the series' signature mix of slapstick, wordplay, and absurdity, showing how the writers layered intelligence under humor, rewarding viewers who paid attention. In just a few lines and stumbles, F Troop managed to honor the craze of the 1960s, while keeping the fort's chaos timeless and endlessly funny. Beyond Rongo's antics that sparked chaos, accidents, and endless comedic mayhem, what risky joke could have backfired on the F Troop producers but instead became a beloved part of the show's humor? Let's find out. Number 3. The Hekawi tribe name was almost a risky joke. One of the cleverest and most daring jokes in F Troop came straight from the writers' imaginations, and it rarely made it to the screen. The Native American tribe in the show was originally going to be called the Fugawi, a cheeky pun based on the phrase, "Where the Fugawi?" The subtle profanity and sly wordplay immediately caught the attention of network censors who weren't willing to let such a bold joke slip past their scrutiny. But the writers didn't give up. Instead of scrapping the gag entirely, they got creative, slightly softening the punchline. The tribe was renamed the Hekawi, a playful nod to the phrase, "Where the heck are we?" The change preserved the original humor while dodging censorship rules, a brilliant move that kept the joke alive and intact for viewers.
And his jokes and retorts on Hollywood squares are part of the American vocabulary.
This single act of linguistic ingenuity became more than just a funny name. It perfectly captured the tone of F Troop. The Hekawi tribe embodied the show's mix of absurdity, slapstick, and irreverence, setting the stage for endless comedic situations where logic and order seemed to have been left far behind. For audiences, the name became instantly recognizable, a symbol of the show's playful audacity, and its willingness to bend the rules for laughter. By turning a potential censorship headache into a signature element of the series, the writers demonstrated the power of creativity under constraint. The Hekawi, though not deliberately named, wasn't just a joke. It became a defining touchstone for the show's identity. But which cast member became a hero purely by accident? And what unexpected event brought him into the spotlight? Now, let's explore how a single sneeze turned Private Parmenter into a legendary Civil War hero. Number 2. Captain Parmenter became a war hero. Because of a sneeze, one of the most ridiculously funny origin stories in F Troop centers on the seemingly bumbling Captain Wilton Parmenter. According to the show's backstory, Parmenter wasn't always the hapless hero we came to love.
She played Wrangler Jane out to marry the bumbling captain of F Troop.
He started as an ordinary, clumsy private assigned to simple tasks, like running errands for his commanding officers. Yet, in a moment that could only happen in the world of F Troop, Parmenter unwittingly became a celebrated war hero. While riding across the battlefield, he let out a loud sneeze, which nearby soldiers, already on edge, mistook for a command to charge. Acting on this signal, the troops launched an impromptu assault that unexpectedly won a crucial battle. The mix-up turned Parmenter into the hero of the hour, even though he had no intention of leading anyone. This hilariously improbable scenario perfectly embodies the show's chaotic charm. It took something as ordinary and human as a sneeze and transformed it into a legendary moment of comedy, proving that even minor accidents could have epic consequences in the absurd world of F Troop. Fans couldn't help but laugh at the idea that a sneeze could decide the outcome of a Civil War battle, and it remains one of the series' most memorable and often quoted stories. It's a clever reminder that in F Troop, luck, chaos, and sheer silliness were just as powerful as courage or strategy, creating comedy that has stood the test of time. One loud, unexpected sneeze accidentally set off a battle command, adding to all the chaos and humor in F Troop. But did people actually watch the show? And how popular was it? Now let's uncover the surprising truth about F Troop's ratings. Number 1. The show once beat future TV legends in the ratings. During its original run from 1965 to 1967, F Troop was far more than just a fleeting sitcom. While many shows came and went without leaving a mark, F Troop consistently drew audiences in droves, often outperforming programs that would later become legendary, such as Star Trek and Gilligan's Island. Viewers were captivated by the misadventures of Captain Parmenter, the bumbling soldiers, and the fort's colorful inhabitants, eagerly tuning in week after week for the mix of slapstick, clever wordplay, and absurd Western antics. Despite its popularity and strong ratings, the show met an unexpected fate. Its cancellation wasn't caused by dwindling viewers or a loss of fan interest. It was driven by behind-the-scenes business decisions that had little to do with the audience. The studio owners at the time determined that the sets, costumes, and production resources occupied valuable space and resources that could be redirected toward other projects. In other words, even a hit show could be cut short if executives saw greater financial opportunity elsewhere. This surprising turn of events underscores a harsh reality of 1960s television. Ratings alone did not guarantee survival. Success on the screen did not always protect a show from corporate maneuvering, production logistics, or the changing priorities of network executives. Yet, despite its brief 2-year run, F Troop refused to fade into obscurity. Syndication in the 1970s and 1980s introduced new generations to the hilarious chaos of Fort Courage, cementing its status as a beloved cult classic. Its story serves as a fascinating reminder that sometimes behind-the-scenes decisions can shape the legacy of even the most popular shows, and that a show's influence can outlast its original airtime by decades. So, what do you think about these F Troop facts? Which one surprised you the most? We would love to hear your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like and subscribe.